The Western Mass Zine Festival, you are going to experience dozens and dozens of zine makers who not only make their own zines, but love zines, love the culture of zines, and are seeing zines as an antidote to the algorithm and are communing in a meaningful way. The desire to have something to hold and the desire to like own something that is yours is more prevalent now than ever because so many things are being taken away from so many people. And I think there's a real inherent sense of togetherness when you can bond with somebody over a zine that you found at a punk show or a CD that you bought at a concert. Like there's just something about that exchange that is so much more meaningful. And I think that more people, as we like dive deeper and deeper into the world of our phones, like more people are kind of like waking up from that, I think, and are becoming privy to how important it is to like share things eye to eye and hand to hand with people. We're currently standing in front of some art that I made about being a touring musician for the last 10 years. So the zines that I have are mostly about that. And I also made a zine about my radio show with the first 10 episodes and the artwork that I made for each episode and the songs.
The process has been so fun. Yeah, they hosted this in 2024 and I was a participant in 2024 with my project Pinewood Atlas, and I just had so much fun that I got inspired to make more zines and wanted to get involved. So it's pretty much just been us meeting for the last couple months, and it's been awesome to see how much interest in the Zine Fest has grown over the past year. So we have a couple different things here. This is Pinewood Atlas. This is a catalog of DIY and unconventional artist residencies around the country. So we'll actually go physically visit the spaces through road tripping and document our findings through interviews, photos, drawings, and creating kind of a resource guidebook for artists and also people who've never heard of a residency before or who also want to start their own artist residency. So at this point, we have visited about 100 residency spaces, and we're currently working on our 6th book. And then we also have free zines here for Sombra Picante, which is my new radio show on 91.1 WJJW, MCLA's college radio, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. So this is a zine with my set list for my first episode. Then we also have a North Berkshire Halloween zine from 2025, and we're going to be making another one in 2026. And a North Adams Spooky shirt.
I'm Joey, and I do Inky Fingers out of Great Barrington, Mass. And yeah, Inky Fingers is like a show paper for Berkshire County about things going on across the Berkshires, 1 month at a time. It's really fun. I made it, I knew about zines growing up, but I always thought zines were comics when I grew up. I didn't know that there could be other kinds of zines. And then I found out about a zine called Chosen Family in Hudson Valley. And it was a show paper for everything happening that month in the Hudson Valley. And it had just beautiful artwork, articles, and I just thought it was great. So I jokingly decided to do one for Great Barrington. And every single listing in the zine was fictional because nothing ever happens. And I thought that was pretty funny. And I put one up on the billboard, like bulletin board in Great Barrington. And then I immediately felt really bad about it. And I was like, let me see if there's actually anything happening. And to my surprise, like a lot was happening in the Berkshires. So I made the first one in October of 2024 and have been doing the zine ever since. So we're up to our 18th issue, and I love making it. And we have all kinds of record reviews and breakfast sandwich reviews and amazing artists write things. And I get to include anyone who wants to pitch me an article or a review or art or poetry. I want to have it in there, and I want all your events all your clubs, everything happening. I want people to know about it because it's good for people to get together.
Asked me to do an exhibition in this gallery. And the gallery is like a hallway gallery, to this garden that I would turn it into a residency. Since the exhibitions last for 6 months.
I'm Jamie. I have a shop in Great Barrington called Heart, and it's like a fiber arts, supplies, and classroom space. And I also make a lot of books and prints, and kind of am always doing things with my hands, even if they're not working great. And so these are a whole bunch of things I made. I have, this has been like 5 years in the making. It's a book about how to make puppets. And so here's a puppet I made, and it has one of the books too. This is a book of egg people. This is, you get your own little things, and then you embroider onto them. These are Keats quotes about flowers. This is a Begin Again patch that I make one every year for many years. And then over here, these are kind of my favorites. These are all the questions my children asked me over the course of 6 months. And then this was the next 6 months. And then this is stuff they said, pretend. Like they were just like, pretend I'm a normal girl, pretend. So it was the pretend I'm a wild tiger and you found me and you took me back was the first one that I was like laying on the couch and I heard one of them say, and I was like, what? And I had to write that down. So that's what this is, and it has a little print in it. And this is all stuff. It's how to make a tiny sweater. I don't know. I just want people to feel joy and make things.
We have an assortment of zines by different people, mostly in Williamstown. We have some poetry, some comic, zines for kids, and a lot of pins. And everything is free or pay what you can, and we're donating money to our friend in Gaza. We're excited to meet people.
Hi, my name's Hannah Walton, and my zine name is Black-Eyed Elma. Yeah, it's all just things that I can't stop thinking about and can't stop talking to my friends about, so put it in a zine and then I can give it to them. Some of them I print at a little local print shop in my town. I'm from Maine. Yeah, and some of them I print at a risograph studio. I've actually printed at Looky Here in Greenfield, so a bunch of little places all around.
My name is Hannah, and I am one of two who run Looky Here in Greenfield, Massachusetts. It's a risograph print shop. We make all of these cards and books in-house. We've got our magazine that we've got 3 issues of. The Love Lights is a comic series, and then we've got a lot of other little books, these cards that we make, poetry books. And we're also a thrift store of art supplies, a workshop space, and a gallery. A risograph is a Japanese printing machine that I describe it as like a screen printing machine. So it burns these disposable paper masters that are stencils, and so you print one color at a time. So we have a palette of yellow, teal, fluorescent pink, and black. And so all of the work here is printed on the riso in just those 4 colors. And when those colors overlap, they blend. So for instance, teal and yellow make green, teal and pink make purple. Each of our magazines are in a limited palette of 3 colors. So this magazine is using just these 3 colors of teal, yellow, and black. And they blend to make all these greens. These black and yellow and pink blend to make oranges and greens. So it's kind of a specialized way of printing, and we teach people how to do it too. One book that I really love is this book that I put out that's a William Morris speech. It's from 1889. So it's kind of the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and he's a proponent of handcraft, trying to get people away from making mass-produced industrialized objects and making their own things that they love and cherish. And it's what is the meaning of life and what is the beauty of life if you're not engaged in it. And so that is what we really believe in, and what we're really doing is making our own things and our own things beautiful.
A few other things on the table My name is Stephanie Trotto.
I'm Connell Mannion.
We're graduating seniors at MCLA right now. The work that we have on our table right now is basically what we've made at MCLA from our time there. As we've been there, we've been learning printmaking, so we have a plethora of letterpress prints and books, as well as risograph prints and zines and books, as well as some fingerboard obstacles if you're into that. We also have a brand together called Wizards Only Fools that started during COVID, where we have more zines, more prints, and some clothing that we have made over the past few years. These are letterpress right here. I have some letterpress Valentine's Day cards because I love Valentine's Day. Connell typeset an entire book with letterpress with our Vandercook press that we have at MCLA.
So printers have this phrase called printing is preservation, and without actually doing the act of printing and keeping these practices alive, they're going to die. And through printing, letterpress in particular, we've met some really awesome people, like Jim in Williamstown. I forget his last name right now, but he is maybe in his 90s and he's still making his own type, which is kind of unheard of right now. We've met printers like Amos Kennedy out of Detroit, and printing and letterpress printers in particular have this MO of printing is a means of resistance, because it's really kind of controlling production of information for yourself. And personally, as a writer, like when I printed this book of poetry, rather than typing it and printing it, I was spending hours forming these sentences physically. And as a writer, it forces you to really slow down, and you're gonna read that sentence or that line in your poem that you wrote 100 more times than you would if you were printing and assembling it digitally. And it really elevates the emotional value when I'm physically assembling words and letter forms as opposed to just typing or even writing them. It creates it into this physical permanent object that then when you're done printing your type, you have to put it all away and break up your form, and it's kind of devastating to do, but it's also a little cathartic because it's like, I'm done with this project, I have to clean it up. And I guess it's kind of like, you know, in the wake of AI and technology and how much water and electricity it uses, I can theoretically make a letterpress print with a brayer, some ink, a piece of paper, and some type. It's like a sustainability, it's everything. It's my favorite thing in the world.
I'm Olivia Montoya. I've got I've got several dozen different zines. I've lost track of how many over the years. Some of these I made as long ago as 2014. Like this one is one of my oldest ones, and I still sell it. But most of what I write is personal stuff about my life and identity and things I'm interested in, things I experience. I also write some info zines, which are zines like about a specific thing or to help you learn about that thing. Like I've got one here that is about finding free indie video games on Steam and other locations. And I've got some true stories too. Like this one's a real wild true story about a tornado. There's definitely been many waves of interest in zines, but it's never gone away. Not the entire time I've been around. There's always been zine fests as long as I've been into zines.
Yes, I am a zine OG, I guess. This is Your Dog is Dirty, which I self-published with my friends from high school in 1995. The original one was black and white because in 1995, obviously, we didn't have color copies. We actually ended up doing 2 more in 95 and 96, which I haven't copied yet, but that could be in the future. So it's a piece of history, lots of teen angst in here, music reviews like, Nirvana, and it's very Gen X. A lot of the zines I'm seeing here are very sophisticated now. Seeing more Riso zines and more color zines. Craftsmanship is better, I think, these days than it was in the 90s. This was literally just cut and paste and stick it on with a typewriter. I still think that a lot of zinesters do like using traditional analog methods, so not everything has to be digital, which is amazing, but digital is a tool, so if we need it, then we have it.
My name is Sean. I do a zine called Embassy Row. I've been doing the zine for 3 years now. I have 4 issues of it, but I've been doing zines for 32 years. The zine community has changed quite a bit since I was doing zines as a teenager and in my 20s. I mean, back then it was very much just like very grassroots, like DIY, to be honest, a lot of times it was we would get copies for free because we had friends that worked at Kinko's. We would, so the zine community has changed quite a bit, but I think it's also a good thing because it's a little bit more open to everybody than what it used to be. It used to be very kind of insular, kind of like if you knew about it, you knew about it. Whereas now I see coming to Zine Fest like this, there's a lot more inclusion, a lot more younger people that are into it, a lot of older people that are into it. So I feel like it's definitely changing. I think it's changing for the better. I mean, I think it's interesting, just to see how it's been evolving over the last 30 years.
I made my first zine for Zine Fest. It's called Monsters with Jobs Volume 1. This came out of some doodles that I did of movie monsters from various science fiction, fantasy, horror films, having boring, everyday jobs. The first one was this drawing I did of the Cyclops from Ray Harryhausen's Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Kind of like Lou Grant from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. He's this gruff boss. And, I started thinking about they would always tell artists, I've heard it from so many people who went into creative fields or didn't, that an authority figure said, you need something to fall back on. I started noodling with the idea that Frankenstein is almost like a celebrity. We've had the Universal series, the Hammer series, the recent Del Toro film. Shout out to Tom Noonan, the late great from the Monster Squad. He's almost like Mick Jagger, but on the other hand, the creatures from the horror of Party Beach is he had to go seek alternate forms of work, so I have him filling up the balloons at Party City. The very best type of artistic pursuits are the ones where you are the key audience for it. This is a joke that I will laugh at the hardest and maybe 3 other people, and that's kind of the whole DIY ethos.
A lot of my zines are sort of brief moments in time. There's some that I've labored over for weeks and months and painstakingly put together, but then there's a good probably 3rd or 4th of my collection that were just inspiration struck. I, got all the content I needed in a half hour and I just went from there. And this is a good example of that. I was on a break from my job in the Old Port, which is basically the big tourist section of Portland, Maine, right on the waterfront. And I started looking around and noticing that there's all these old men wearing these white shoes all around me, all these tourists who are lining up for their tours. So I just pull out my phone, start surreptitiously snapping some photos. By the end of a 20-minute break, I had enough photos for this zine here. Followed it up here with Blunder Years. All the photos of Blundstone boots here were taken at one zine fair in Waterville, Maine in 2025. As we were discussing earlier, there's nothing too niche for a zine, whether it be bread expiration tags or vomit bags on airplanes or things like that. But, you've got to have, at a zine fest, you have to have at least one zine about zines. That's what error printing is. It's about the frustration of dealing with printers that always seem to be on their last legs and running out of ink and things like that. A couple here that are QSL related might be of interest to the Williamstown, North Adams community. We have here is a QSL card, which is the cards that ham radio operators trade between one another. And you can see this operator was from North Adams, Mass. Mount Greylock Mobile Ears was his little identifying name there. So kind of a cool slice of North Adams history here in one of these QSL zines for you.
My name is Sarah Trudgeon. I'm the literary director of the Mastheads, which is a public arts and humanities project in Pittsfield. And today we're here with books and other art objects made by students in our Poetry in Schools program, Fireside. So, and we're here with Ari, who runs Citation Needed Press and is a frequent collaborator. So we made all of these books together.
These have poems and visual art by kids. We printed them at MCLA at the press room. This is a risograph printed book with poems by third graders from Morningside Elementary. And all of these books were made by children. Some of them are in New York. These are with our Mastheads collaboration with Pittsfield Public Schools.
We're doing two things kicking back against the algorithm. We got poetry here, which kids love, and we have printed books, which kids also love. They haven't been corrupted yet, so they don't even know they're pushing back against anything. They just like to do it.
A book is an opportunity to share your ideas and share your world with other people. And so I think so many of the kids I meet want to make books. It's just like that's such an exciting way to share who you are and explore something that you think is interesting.
We've already had kids come up to us today to say, how can I make one myself?
This exalted beauty queen